Let's start light, Crystal. Did you see that 50 Cent went to the Capitol?
I saw he tweeted a photo with Lauren Boebert. Was the thing I saw a lot of.
He did tweet a photo with Lauren Boebert. That generated a lot of headlines. That generated a lot of outrage. And his response to it was, she didn't give me chlamydia. So, I don't know, maybe he saw that she was jacking some dude off at the theater watching Beetlejuice. I actually quote tweeted and said, are you going to go see Beetlejuice with him? And then also, there was something else he said, too, that I'm blanking on now. Oh, he said, here's a Republican that's doing a lot of good for the White House. Now, there's two ways to interpret it. One way is 50 Cent has no clue what he's talking about, and he's just saying, politician, White House, I guess, doing good together or something. Or it's like a burn, like she's such a dumbass that what she does helps the White House. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How would you interpret that?
He said making the White House look good.
Making the White House look good.
Which
so that sounds to me like a...
You look like she looks good, like a comment on her appearance, because they took the picture in the White House, right?
I thought it was by the Capitol they took it.
I don't freaking know. I didn't follow that closely. I think it was in the White. But anyway,
50 smart enough to be burning her.
Or it could also, it's like sort of a double entendre, so to speak.
I think 50 smart enough to be burning her. A little bit of like a wink and a nod. Like, but there's enough plausible deniability, so if she says something to him, he'll be like, what? I was saying you look good.
Yep.
But in reality, he was saying you're a dumbass, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he was there. He was there for some dumbass, capitalist reason.
Yeah, he's got his own liquor brand. This is what Sagar was. This is all per Sagar, so I haven't actually read into what he was doing. But apparently, he's launching a liquor brand. He wants tariffs put on like foreign liquor conglomerates, so his thing can compete more. There's like an identity lens to it because it's like Black entrepreneurship. So I think it's something like that. It is. Your bottom line is correct, is to serve his personal financial interest.
And they framed it as like helping Black-owned businesses.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
But really, it sounds like there's two readings of that. Number one, yeah, that could be good economic policy to incentivize making more stuff in the U.S. But the other interpretation of it is, if the CEO of one of those companies is going to Congress and begging for this, it's because he's like, I want to be the one to get all the money and get rich and ban all these other people from selling here. You know what I'm saying? So there's also like kind of a
he's clearly
self-interested.
Yeah. And he's not exactly a charity case here either.
Of course. Yeah, but anyway, it was funny seeing him on Capitol Hill. You know,
I feel like he's lost some weight since the Super Bowl appearance he did, where people were saying he was looking kind of chunky.
Yes, yeah, he used to be jacked. He looked kind of fat. Now he's jacked again, it looks like. But anyway, we haven't even gotten to the biggest part yet. This is the biggest part of him doing this. There was a moment where somebody asked him a question about Trump, and he had an interesting answer. Check this out.
Have you made a decision?
I haven't.
What do you think is the significance?
Thank you.
Just the last question. What do you see as the significance of African American men in this election? For both of you.
I see them identifying with Trump.
Why do you say that?
Because they got RICO charges. And
so if you didn't hear the beginning part, they asked him, are you voting for Biden or Trump? And he said, I'm undecided. And then he goes on to he's asked a question about black men and voting for Trump. And he's like, yeah, they relate to him. They got RICO charges.
Well, this is a case that Republicans have been like affirmatively and seriously making.
I can't with these people. If a white dude said this, it'd be like the most racist thing anybody's ever said. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, there are white dudes literally saying this who literally think...
They sugarcoat it a little more.
The Jesse Waters types are actively saying things
and
like
on Fox,
that.
I covered it on Fox and Friends, too. Yeah. They were like, Biden called Trump a convicted felon. Is this a concern for him? Because maybe he's being a little too mean to convicted felons who are misunderstood.
Oh, suddenly.
It's like, oh, yeah, now all of a sudden you're real fucking soft on crime and criminal justice reform.
Yeah.
And by the way, the poll, listen to this. It used to be 17% of Republicans who said a convicted felon should be able to run for office.
Yeah.
That shot all the way up to 58% because of Trump.
Well, here's what, it barely deserves a substantive response, but here's what drives me crazy is like, obviously we have two-tier justice system. And so conflating one elite actually for once being potentially maybe a little bit held accountable with the massive like criminalization basically of being poor in America is so disgusting. It's so disgusting.
Of course. People are not stupid. They know the difference between, like, they can evaluate individual cases on their own merit. If you show me some poor kid with a couple dime bags who got a couple years in prison and has a permanent criminal record now, any reasonable person is going to look at that and be like, damn, that's fucked up. It's going to be hard for them to get a job. But you look at Trump and you're like, motherfucker, why should I have any sympathy for you? This is like your 712th crime, and you finally got caught on something. You know the story that just came out this week about how he was saying apparently the N-word on the Apprentice set? There's a bigger story actually embedded within that story, that one of the producers of The Apprentice was at a Trump golf club in the clubhouse, and because they were shooting something there, and he met the guy who was the architect, and he talked to the architect, and the architect said to him, Trump never paid me for this. He paid me the first half. It was supposed to be half now, half later. He paid me the first half. When it came time to pay me the second half, he just stiffed me. And then I did the math and realized if I took him to court, it would cost me so much money that I might even lose more money by taking him to court, even if I win. So I just ate it. And you have any idea how many people he did this to? So whether it's the tax fraud or the insurance fraud or the business fraud or stiffing all sorts of plumbers and electricians and casino workers and construction workers and architects, etc. He's done this his whole fucking life. And I've said nothing about the war crimes, right? Like illegal assassination of Qasem Soleimani. Am I going to fucking shed a tear because this motherfucker finally gets what's coming to him?
Yeah.
No. And the polls show most people don't shed a tear. So they can tell the difference between some bullshit charges against some poor black kid who didn't fucking deserve it and Trump.
Yeah. Yes, they can. To your point, there was this, I just pulled up this poll. YouGov did a snap poll after the Trump hush money conviction, and they asked, do you think former President Trump has ever committed any crimes? Overwhelmingly, people are like, of course. So you've got 42% who say definitely, another 23% who say probably. So you're looking at 65% of people who are like, yeah, Donald Trump has obviously committed some crimes. And you only have 26% on the other side. Even among Republicans, you've got a significant chunk. You've got 40% of Republicans who say Donald Trump has definitely or probably committed some crimes. So the idea that people just, oh, he's poor Trump, he's being persecuted, is just a ridiculous and false notion of how Americans actually feel about this dude.
And also, by the way, guys, there's no more plausible deniability. This is not 2015. This is not 2016. This is not, we're going to drain the swamp. I'm self-funding my campaign. All these people are controlled by the donors and the lobbyists. They're puppets. They're puppets. This isn't that. He already was president for 4 fucking years. We saw everything. We saw that he took $100 million from Sheldon Adelson on 2 separate occasions. And the quid pro quo for that was Sheldon Adelson gets to control Israel policy. Oh, would you look at that? That's when we got the Abraham Accords, which was a giant middle finger to the Palestinians. That's when we moved the embassy to Jerusalem, which was another giant middle finger to Palestinians, which helped lead to October 7th, to the attacks on October 7th. This is a guy who took $1 million from the predatory payday loan industry at his inauguration, and then turned around and dropped all the new regulations that were supposed to go into them and dropped the court cases that were against them.
Yeah.
I can go on and on.
Yeah,
There's a million areas like this.
This time around, we know he's selling American foreign policy vis-a-vis Israel to Miriam Adelson for $100 million.
They just reported that.
She wants West Bank annexation, and apparently he's like, sure, go ahead, give me my cash.
He just said to billionaires, where I'm going to cut your taxes.
Yeah, numerous reports of him going to billionaires and directly being like, you need to give me money because I'm going to keep your taxes low. Oil industry executives, you need to pony up $1 billion for my campaign because I'm going to deregulate your industry and you're going to be able to do whatever the hell that you want. Went to a group of wealthy New York donors, many of whom were Jewish and very Zionist, and said, hey, if you don't like these pro-Palestinian protests, I'm going to deport the protesters. I'm going to set this movement back 30 years. That's what he has to say. So, yeah, even the pretense of the populist rhetoric from 2016 is just long gone. And it's just a shameless, corrupt cash grab that is quite something to behold.
He literally said to some of the billionaires at these closed door events, well, you gave me $1 million and then you gave me $5 million. That's not going to work. Make it 25 or 30.
Yeah. I know we don't really have campaign finance laws, but this should be blatantly illegal.
Same with...
You're just blatantly promising, give me this and I will give you this policy change that you want.
I'm sure you saw the story on the witness tampering too, right? Where he gave pay increases and a percentage of various companies and all sort bonuses and all sorts of stuff to the people who were witnesses for him in his trials.
Incredible.
Yeah. And it's like, if they have a legit quid pro quo in an email or on text or on tape, then that they'd be able to prosecute that. But most of the time, this is like works like the mafia, a little wink and a nod, so you can't actually connect the dots directly because they don't say it.
Right.
So they'll probably just end up getting away with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's going to get away with
But
it.
these are the sorts of things where people, they fucking see through it.